Well, hope the cars and the plants are undercover tonight. The metro area got blasted with a ton of lightning and hail. Small stuff, but so much it's piling up on the roads in southeast Denver.
We are in hour 2 of the bright flashy stuff in downtown Denver and nearby. Enough lightning tonight that Red Rocks held off the show for King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. I'm not familiar with their work, but that sounds good.
Sure you are.
Most of the action, though, is headed out towards DIA right now. Lauren Robinson, what a wild night, huh?
Yeah, we saw some very late night storms push their way through, and they're continuing to make their way through. So we do still have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for the next 15 minutes or so. But as we take a look at our HD Doppler radar, you can see these storms really started to form a line right along Interstate 20 from or I-25 from Fort Collins all the way through Pueblo. But where we're seeing the strongest storms actually pushed their way right through Denver. They started a bit further southwest near Red Rocks, and then we saw the South Metro get some heavy rain and some hail. And now it's making its way further east into Aurora, right over DIA. Some of these reports reporting maybe an inch to an inch and a half of rainfall and small to medium sized hail. Now, the storm is starting to lose some of its power, but you do still want to watch for these heavy downpours and strong winds, lots of lightning and thunder. So the severe thunderstorm warning will remain in effect until around 10:15. And again, this is going to be around DIA and just east of DIA. Right now at the airport, though, we're at 58 degrees. We do have those storms being reported here. Winds picking up now, coming in from the west-southwest at around 21 miles per hour. As you're making plans for the rest of the evening, or what's left of it, these storms will eventually make their way out. Will stay pretty cloudy overnight, lows mild in the middle 50s. And making those plans for your Friday, we're going to wake up dry and sunny. Those temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s. But we do have another round of storms that's going to push its way in during the afternoon hours before we see a pretty soggy weekend ahead. I'll have those details in my full 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Lauren. For the first time in U.S. history, a former president faces federal charges. Donald Trump has been indicted on 7 counts related to the mishandling of classified documents and possible obstruction of justice.
The investigation began last year. Trump posted a video tonight on his Truth Social platform claiming innocence.
I'm an innocent man. I did nothing wrong, and we will fight this out just like we've been fighting for 7 years.
The investigation focused on more than 100 classified documents that were discovered at Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago last year. This was after the government repeatedly asked for them, and the Trump team refused to turn over the documents. This is the second indictment for Trump, the first federal charges. In April, he pleaded not guilty to falsifying business records related to hush money payments made to a porn star during his 2016 campaign. Trump is expected in court in Miami on Tuesday. Nearly a year and a half after the most destructive wildfire in Colorado history, we learned today no one will be charged with a crime as a result. Investigators are blaming the Marshall Fire on 2 ignition sources: a 6-day-old ember from an old fire on a religious sect's property and an Xcel power line swinging in the wind.
The last 18 months have been hard, and not having answers creates stress and challenges that we don't need. And I hope that now we can focus on rebuilding our lives and getting back to our homes and our community.
December 24th, 2021, 6 days before the Marshall Fire, people were burning trash on a property owned by the 12 Tribes, a religious group. Firefighters came out, said that the fire was okay as long as they covered the coals with dirt when the burn was over, and they did that. Then the extreme winds of December 30th blew the dirt away, reignited some embers. The fire that followed was impossible to stop. Our 9 News Originals team went through hundreds of videos to capture what happened next,
including one that appears to show why investigators zeroed in on a specific power line. Here's Chris Vanderveen.
It's 11:19 a.m. December 30th, 2021.
Oh my God, I can see flames.
Ann Michaels records from this spot as she looks south toward the property owned by 12 Tribes. 8 minutes later, Jack Palmer records the same property from a different vantage point.
The wind was changing, and at one moment the whole fire scene would be covered with smoke, and then it would sort of blow away, like reveal it.
This is fire number 1. Investigators now call it the El Dorado Springs Fire.
A massive brush fire that is threatening our house and other houses.
It's small, and neighbors like Makia Minich feel relatively safe.
And at that point, it was just a little wisp of smoke out in the distance. And it's Colorado, it was warm. We're used to wildfires in general.
As I was going up 36 again, the wind was fierce, really fierce.
At this moment, this is the only fire burning. How do we know? Because of this video.
Oh no.
Recorded by Edward Harrell.
Oh.
He's driving south on Highway 93 and captures a key piece of evidence. You might have missed it, so we'll play it back. That right there is an Xcel line, and that is what's known as the east phase of Xcel Energy Circuit 1161. It's supposed to be up there, but it's not. Investigators say they will find evidence of electrical arcing in this spot. Oh! Similar to what Harrell recorded in a different location a few minutes later. We should note at this point the first fire is already doing damage to the east.
I got to the Costco parking lot and it just got worse. Pretty soon there were embers everywhere.
In fact, we won't see evidence of the start of the second fire, the one investigators call the trailhead fire, for another 12 minutes. When Mike Soltowski records this, a fire burning a third of a mile south of the 12 Tribes property, right next to the location of Xcel Energy Circuit 1161. A half hour later, the evacuation of suburban Boulder County is underway. The two fires, investigators now suspect, merged at some point, merge into the fire we know as the Marshall Fire, the most destructive fire in Colorado history. Chris Vanderveen, 9 News.
Investigators say that hanging Xcel power line is the most likely source of the second fire, but they could now completely rule out a couple of other more unlikely options. For months now, 9 News reporter Marshall Zellinger has been trying to get answers from Xcel about your bills. Now he's trying to get answers from Xcel about their possible role in Colorado's worst wildfire.
Xcel disagrees with the conclusion of the investigation that its equipment had anything to do with the Marshall Fire. The reason investigators didn't know to research this far left power line up there is because Xcel repaired it immediately. Investigators don't believe Xcel was trying to hide any evidence, but rather just get power back to people immediately after the Marshall Fire. For more than a year, we've asked Xcel if it has anything to do with the Marshall Fire, and it has held firm in statements saying none of its equipment had anything to do with it. However, part of the investigative report today revealed a text message from one Xcel lineman to his manager saying something to the effect of, "I think our lines may have started this fire east of El Dorado just for your SA stands for situational awareness." What does this mean for Xcel customers? Do Xcel customers as a collective have to pay more now because of lawsuits that Xcel will face, lawyers that Xcel will hire, or anything as a result of this investigation? I can't tell you the true answer right now, but we're going to ask the Public Utilities Commission and we're going to ask state lawmakers if there is any protection currently or if there can be any protection later that shields customers as a whole from having to foot any of the bill of Xcel defending itself or people going after Xcel as a cause of the Marshall Fire. Marshall Zellinger, 9 News.
More than 1,000 families lost homes in the Marshall Fire. One family lost 5 homes across several generations. And today our Jennifer Meckles, knowing the official fire cause, says doesn't change much for them as they work every single day to come back home.
We've been here the whole month of May and first week in June, so about 5 weeks.
Ted Chavez is the first in his family to move back.
We're still building, waiting on trying to get the garage in, put the garage in, and do some yard work, trying to get some landscaping done.
His family has 5 homes to rebuild after the Marshall Fire.
That's just amazing. It's all gone. All gone.
9 News has been following their progress for more than a year.
I'm so excited to be here. 2, 3. It's great to drive back to Superior. Been doing it all my life. But it's just, it's not my home. It's a home.
From his new front porch, we asked Ted how he felt, knowing investigators have now reached some conclusions about what started the Marshall Fire.
In my world, it doesn't change anything.
It doesn't change
how
this fire changed him.
No, it doesn't even give me a sense of relief. Even if a person caught this on fire, it wouldn't have mattered. We should have been ready. The county should have been ready. The city should have been ready.
He has an idea of what happens next.
I'm glad that whoever needed to know, they know. Whoever we're going to sue, they're going to sue. And if they do happen and we do get some more help that way, it's awesome, but you're never going to replace what we had.
Some losses just don't have a dollar amount.
You know, when we had to fill our contents out for our insurance, that was the hardest thing I ever did in my life.
But this family has embraced the hard, committed to coming back home no matter what it takes.
I hope everybody just hangs on tight and know that there is an end. When? I don't know. It's not today. No.
Ted, like so many other homeowners, is so frustrated by the slow rebuilding process, waiting on the permits, the new construction requirements they have to adhere to now, and all of the costs that they could have never predicted. They'd hoped to have a party in July to celebrate the family being all back home, but at this point, that hasn't happened, and the party will have to wait.
Okay, well, we're glad we heard from them tonight. Thanks, Jennifer.